Canadian Healthcare Marketing Hall of Fame created a new award, one I'm really proud of. It's actually an award named after, and I'm proud to call a friend, Phil Diamond. It's the Phil Diamond Humanitarian Award. It's a special award which is given to recognize individuals for an extra charitable and philanthropic effort beyond what we do in our normal routine. The recipient this year is the president of Pharma Horizons, Steve Gregory. Unfortunately, due to tragic personal circumstances, Steve cannot be here today. You will see him on video in a few moments. But here to accept the award on his behalf is Mr. David Nectel. David?
Thank you, Lauren. And on behalf of Steve, thank you for this honor today. As some of you may know, Steve's mother has passed away, and her funeral is actually today. So as much as Steve would be thrilled to be here today, I'm sure you can understand why he isn't. As many of you know, Steve has a giant heart and tremendous energy, and today it's his family that needs those qualities. Steve's very touched to receive the Phil Diamond Award. He's very grateful for the example that Phil Diamond has set and the creation of this award. Steve also wanted me to pass along his very warm congratulations to the other leaders who have been honored and recognized today. Now, many of you may have worked with Steve or sat through one of the sessions that he's facilitated and can share some stories maybe of how he's helped you or your sales teams or your organizations. I just can tell you that from our company and our standpoint, all of our employees at Pharma Horizons and ISAX Technologies are very proud of our leader and this recognition. For Steve, the journey to this award today I think is a story of discovery and inspiration. So as a word of background, I need to take you back to an important moment in World War II. On July 10th, 1943, Canadian soldiers landed in Pacino, Sicily, and marking the beginning of the Sicilian campaign. Now, this campaign is not well known, but it was called Operation Husky. And it was historically significant because it represented the first time that Canadian soldiers had taken an independent role in the Second World War. They fought with courage, and they were successful at overcoming the German defenses, but their success came with the cost of close to 500 men who were lost. In 2000, I'll flash forward to 2006, Steve was visiting Sicily and happened to visit the graveyard where the Canadian soldiers were buried, which is in Agira. It was a beautiful morning. It was hot and dry. Steve was alone. And he was at once amazed and also deeply saddened by what he saw. Hundreds of graves. Young Canadians. He had never heard of their sacrifices. And he also suspected he was not the only one. And he started to think about what all of this meant. And Steve just felt he had to do something. So when he returned to Canada, he was determined to restore the memory of the sacrifices these great men had made. And he undertook several initiatives to start to fulfill that. So first, he sponsored and co-founded the 3rd Battery of the Montreal Artillery, which is a volunteer battery for veterans. He bought a 1939 vintage troop carrier, which now graces the front of our headquarters as well. And he joined in parades. So very recently, for the St. Patrick's Day Parade, he had the honor of accompanying World War II veterans in the parade. And that included John Matheson, who is the man who helped design the Canadian flag and create the Order of Canada. Second, Steve got involved with the Canadian Company and is now the Montreal chapter president. And this is a group of very prominent business leaders in Canada, people like Paul Desmarais, Jim Basili from Research in Motion, Galen Weston. And these are people that have launched a series of projects. And I'll just give you an example. When a soldier today dies in Afghanistan, there's a massive void that affects the spouse, and also the children. And the Canadian government can only do so much. Since 2002, 71 children Canadian kids have lost a parent who is actively serving. So the Canadian company will do things like create a scholarship so that those children, when they get to college or university age, they've got 4 years of education covered. So we can step in and help, because that loss continues far, far into the future. So that's the second thing Steve did. And third, Steve launched an ambitious project, and we're about to show a video to you. That's my little cue for the video team, which will give you a little description. It's something to commemorate Operation Husky, and it's called Operation Husky 2013. If we could have the video, please.
A group of Canadian citizens is putting into place what we call Operation Husky 2013. Our intention is to take 500 Canadians on a 33-day march across Sicily in 2013, following the exact path that the Canadian soldiers took during that summer of 1943. Every day, at 11 o'clock, we want to read the names of the soldiers that fell that day 70 years ago. And in the evening, we're hoping that a nearby Sicilian parish would hold a mass where we can honor the fallen Sicilians. So we think this would be a great initiative to honor the Canadian soldiers that many Canadians have forgotten. We're unaware of the contribution we made in Sicily. The initiative, which was started a couple of years ago, is going to attempt to bring Canadian students together to research the names of the 487 Canadians who fell. Then I'm hoping I can attract enough Canadians that they will come with us, so that every Canadian name is read by another Canadian, honoring the soul of the men that fell.
Steve's interest in veterans has nothing to do with war. It has everything to do with peace. If Steve was here today, I'm pretty sure that he would have tried to raise your interest and curiosity about Operation Husky 2013. He probably would have reassured you that if you could only come to Italy for a few days and savor a bit of that time, you'd be welcome for just even a short part of the adventure. I'm also pretty sure he would have tried to put the moves on you during the cocktail session to see if he could raise some funds for it as well. All I can say is that I hope you'll visit the website of Operation Husky 2013, or speak to me after if you'd like to just learn a little bit more, or reach out to Steve directly as well. I know some of you will see him. Before the video, I said that the journey today is one of discovery and inspiration. I think your recognition of Steve is a tribute to the very things that his passion, and he is very passionate about this, represents. I think your tribute is about a recognition of a love of country, a healthy pride in our national accomplishments, deep respect and gratitude for people who were selfless and heroic, and a genuine concern that we create a community here, now, that remembers, that protects these people and their families, and it honors those who are willing to serve. So on behalf of Steve, I thank you for this tremendous honor and recognition, and he very much hopes that your paths will cross with him when he can next be in your company. So thank you so much for this honor.